NFC, Tampa Bay at Green Bay. I've been saying that was week 6 they played, but Pete, did you just say it was week 5?
Yeah, it was week 6.
Okay, week 6, Bucs, Green Bay, 38-10 Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay. And this was Aaron Rodgers' by far worst game of the season.
Yes.
Not even close. There wasn't a close second. Whatever second was, it wasn't nearly as bad as this one.
No,
so
definitely not.
let's kick this one off the same way we talked about Chiefs and Bills. How relevant is the game that happened in October now?
There's more relevancy to me in this game than there was the last game we talked about. Now, both of these teams have gotten better and have changed a little bit, but not as drastically different from at least the first meeting. You know, like we talked about, the Bills and Chiefs ran an offense in that game where I go, they don't do that, and they haven't done that really since then. So don't expect that. This one is, there's been a few tweaks and changes, but, you know, as a whole, they're still running the same type of offense and doing those things. Here's the first thing I'm going to say. The Packers have gotten better at running the football. There's no doubt. Anybody that's been listening to the podcast, they become a force running the football. Doesn't matter. Even when you play run defense, they can run the ball.
Bucs have the #1 run defense in the league.
That's where, okay, so there's my first issue. And it scares me. I don't know how that part of the matchup's going to play out. I do think, of course, we know running game's going to be important for Green Bay and all of that. But I don't know how successful they can really sit here and expect to dominate the line of scrimmage like they maybe did last week or against the Tennessee Titans or against some of these other teams. I haven't seen anybody all year run the ball in the Bucs. Nobody. Other than the Vikings in early December. It's the only team, and that is a world-class special running back that's not going to be on the field in this game. I like Aaron Jones. He ain't Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook is really, really special.
They allowed 10 fewer rushing yards per game than every other team in the league.
They have tremendous size and physicality.
Linebackers.
And that's where I want to go next. And you might have saw my notes from the first game, and I'd write them again yesterday when I'm watching it back again too. All right, it's hard to run up the middle against Tampa Bay. But forget running sideline to sideline.
Right.
That you can't do it. You can't. David and White are so phenomenal. You're actually better off going, let's just run right at Ndamukong Suh and see maybe if our guys can swallow up these smaller linebackers instead of our linemen trying to get up at the second level and cut these guys off from edge runs. Green Bay in the first matchup tried to do that early on in the game. They tried to run outside. They couldn't turn the corner for the lives of them.
Right.
They're not going to be able to. They're going to have to run at Tampa, a little bit like you saw the Saints did. The Saints didn't even mess with the outside run game. All their successful Kamara runs were up the middle, and he weaved through.
Right.
So I would think that's the first thing that jumps off to me.
And there would be the argument, too, just to counter that and say, why even try? Why not just throw?
Well, I think this could be a game where they have to throw to set up the run. I do think that could be a real possibility. There's some concerning things about the first matchup. Dad hit on a few of them. The Bucs D-line smashed the Packers O-line in the run game and the pass game. It's a little scary. Now, I do think, like I said, the Packers have gotten better in both areas. Having played them, having watched the film back and all that, they're going to be ready this week. That's for sure. So that will change. I don't think they're going to dominate them, to that extent. But even when they got up to the 10-0 lead, Paul, the one thing that when you watch back is a little scary, and it was 10-0, but I think what bothered me was lack of plays that were really delivered by the offense, and they moved the ball because of Rodgers the first few drives. I didn't come away going, wow, that was a great attack. Whoa, he was open. Oh, cool little run game play here. It was more like, okay, that was a nice run on the first drive. Oh, Rodgers got out of the pocket and threw a laser down the middle. Oh, well, Rodgers danced in the pocket and found the back when they were all playing man-to-man and he had pressure on him. They got the first down. It was a lot of that. And to me, there's a difference between that and, okay, he's in the pocket, the first guy he's looking at, bam. Oh, first guy's not open, second guy, bam. That to me is realistic. Okay, the offense is functioning at a high level.
Right.
This was offense and one guy at a high level. And that's where I get a little concerned going forward.
Right. And going forward from those first 2 drives where they got 10 points, they didn't score again. And it was just an endless amount of the rest of the time, quarters 2 through 4, of punts, blitzes not picked up, confused offensive linemen, maybe confused Rodgers.
Yep.
And it was the first time all season, the only time all season, I think he was under 50%. and he threw more interceptions and touchdowns.
Yes.
No other defense touched that.
Nobody.
Against him.
Now, the 2 interceptions, I think the one thing you can look at it and go, okay, he wasn't fooled or tricked or anything like that. It was an out route that was just a risky decision, and he threw the ball behind the guy.
Yeah.
The other one was that little slant RPO that went right off of Devontae Adams' 2 hands. It was into tight coverage. So at least they're going to be able to look at that and go like, hey, you didn't get confused.
You can excuse that, but the biggest point is blitz after blitz after blitz.
That's where we're going to go.
Beat Green Bay.
Beat Green Bay.
Yeah.
Gave them issues. And to me, here's the one area where I think, they can change. I do think they're going to have to throw to win the football game. I don't see them being able to dominate going, we're going to come out and run it, and you're not going to be able to stop us. I don't think that's going to happen. Against a lot of teams, I think they can do it. I think they're going to have to throw to win. Here was one of my issues with how they attacked in the pass game. They attacked, at that point in the time, they were on fire, right? I mean, I don't know if he had thrown an interception that point of that year, right? He was like 11 touchdowns, no interceptions, big plays. We beat the Saints in New Orleans, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. They kind of came out and just were like, oh, no, you. We're going to still do that. We don't respect you.
Right.
And it played into the hands of the Bucs. The Bucs with their great pass rush. The Bucs love 5-man pass rushes, getting five guys one-on-ones. And I really thought the Packers called too many aggressive downfield passing plays. That would be the one thing I would say, let's change that, Green Bay, and see what happens. One, this is a team that, in their 5 losses, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I would say when I look at that and just go, what's the one common thing with all of those 5 losses? To me, the thing that jumped out was teams threw the ball short on them. The Saints both wins. Nick Foles and the Bears, short throws to dice them up. Jared Goff and the Rams, it was all short passing game to the slot. To me, that might be the area where you don't let the pass rush get off because you're getting the ball out of your hands pretty quickly. And, it's a good way to dissect a young secondary who might not be on their ball with every rule in the world as far as zone coverage together.
Awesome point. So of those 5 games where the teams kind of hurt them throwing a little bit more conservatively, which of those 5 schemes could the Packers watch that film over and over and say, we can steal from what they did because it's kind of like what we can do anyway?
The Rams.
Okay.
The Rams are the one. McVay and LaFleur were on the same staff. Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods tore the Buccaneers a new asshole.
With what kind of routes?
All these little slot option over-under routes where in our West Coast offense, John Gruden, who taught McVay, and of course McVay taught LaFleur with Shanahan and all that, we would call them bullseye routes or race routes. But either way, it's the same thing. It's a guy sitting at 5 or 6 yards having a little option route. You stare him down. Oh, wait, he's there? Boom, hit him. Oh, wait, the linebackers converged on him? Great. We got a little in cut right behind him at 12 yards. Oh, there goes that linebacker. Oh, you took away that option route. Well, look at that hole you left right there. Boom, 12-yard completion, easy one. They killed them with stuff like that all game long. That, to me, would be something they can steal. And even, of course, the Saints in the 38-3 victory.
Yeah.
Some of those type of plays, too, in the first half before the Bucs finally said, wait, we got to play some man-to-man and adjust. They're not going to be able to play the same defense they played against the Saints last week. This quarterback can throw farther than 20 yards. He can scramble. They're not going to be able to get in their face and play man-to-man and just say, oh, we can blitz because we know he won't get out of the pocket and do all those stuff and make crazy throws. They're going to have to be a little bit more careful about their approach this week.
They would have to completely change, right? Just in terms of the parts of the field that are going to be threatened in the passing game.
Right.
Times 10, right?
Times 10. More aggressive passing plays. Yeah, they'll have to be careful about, again, they're going to want to play man-to-man, but it's like we talked about with the other matchup. It's just got to be a little bit of a roll of the dice every now and then.
Right.
I think this is the time to do it. Oh, they're in this personnel set. Let's play man-to-man here. Yeah. But if you make a living trying to play man-to-man against them and he gets a feel for it,
right.
I mean, one, Adams is going to beat you man-to-man. Two, Rodgers and them, they have too many pick plays and things like that. Yeah. They're going to find a way to, you're man-to-man against our two slot receivers here. They're going to run real close to each other and rub each other, and now one of your guys isn't going to be covering. And you have to be careful about that, too.
So I was trying to think about a game that was more recent where a team really got after Rodgers in this run now where I think since that game in Tampa Bay, I mean, Rodgers is over 70%. They're scoring 31 points a game.
Right.
I think he's like 37 TDs and 3 picks or something stupid like that. So I was trying to think of a recent game where a team really came after him. Tennessee did. Tennessee blitzed a lot. What did Aaron in that scheme do differently on that day, which was, that was in December, I think late December.
Right.
That looked a lot different than how they tried to beat Tampa.
Well, I would say that would probably be one of those where I'd look at and go, remembering off the top of my head, first off, they could run the ball in that game against the Titans.
They were running better. Yeah,
so that helped them out, certainly. The blitzes, and if just remembering the Titans game and everything like that, I feel like there was a little bit what we're talking about, if I'm remembering correctly, is just, hey, get the ball, get it out of your hands quickly, let's execute and kind of just move the ball that way. And then every now and then when they felt like, okay, now it's time to take a shot, they took a shot in the pass game. But if I remember right, that's kind of the way they approach that game. Yeah. Now, they're just not as talented up front as the Buccaneers or in the back end that way either. Anyway, I want to pull up the stats from that game just to refresh my memory from that Titans game.
He absolutely torched them. And I remember they really were aggressive with the blitz. And it just made me think, boy, why weren't they as successful with it as a team like Tampa Bay was? Now, every team has kind of tried to come after him a little bit because you have to at some point. And nobody's done it the way the Tampa Bay did. Yeah,
no, nobody did. And I also think, like we just talked about with the other matchup, I think it was Green Bay team where it was like, hey, everything's worked that we've done so far. Let's just keep it rolling. Whoa, wait, this team did this to us and we got to figure this out here. Yeah. I think it was a little bit more of that, too. They've grown as an offense. They become more physical, certainly. And I don't know. Rodgers is in the zone right now. I don't expect him to throw 2 bad interceptions in this football game. This is where this game gets interesting to me. It really does. I honestly think the Tampa Bay is the better football team. I do. And I know we're going to switch to the other side here in a second. But in Green Bay and the Rodgers factor, I don't. That's where I go, I think Tampa's better, but those two things there scare me a little bit. They definitely do. I mean, Green Bay and Rodgers are a different animal. Rodgers, the pressure's on him this week. I will say that. The pressure, it's not on Tom Brady. Everybody thinks, if Tom Brady doesn't win, everybody's going to go, you're still awesome, you're the GOAT. Yeah. If Rodgers loses, everybody's going to be like, I can't beat Brady when he's 43. Yeah. Can't even beat him.
You think he feels that?
I feel like he will. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I feel like all these quarterbacks are going to feel a little pressure this weekend because this one's personal. Yeah. All 4 of them. Mm-hmm. I think Josh Allen felt the Mahomes pressure effect in the first game. Yeah. Because he was young. Like, I'm on the big stage and Mahomes is the man and I want to show everybody that I'm the man. Right. And he missed some throws early in the game. I also think Mahomes is going to feel the Josh Allen pressure in this game too and be like, wait, this guy's getting kind of good here. He's kind of on my heels.
Rodgers going to feel the Brady.
Well, Roddy, I definitely do. Yeah. I think he's going to be like, shit, this could help my narrative a little bit in the big picture of things if I could beat Brady in an NFC Championship game and go on to win the Super Bowl. I think all these guys are very aware of that status.
And who knows, hey, Kel, maybe he is as aware and feels maybe a sense of what you just said. Maybe he knows this other team is, if not as good, maybe as a total team better. So that would force a quarterback, if he's 22 or 37, to feel that way too.
I think so. Mm-hmm. I would think watching the game back, he's got to be sitting there going, I got to play good this week. Mm-hmm. Like it's going to be on me. Yeah. I would think Rodgers he's too smart and realizes that. He sees those big in Tampa. He's going, I don't know if like Aaron Jones and Dillon and everybody up the middle is going to be a real consistent positive thing for us this week. Right. So that'll be interesting to watch altogether. I think we kind of hit all the main points.
Got you there, yeah.
Well, the one thing I'll also say, we talked about the short passing game, those things he could steal from McVay. I do think another thing they can do, we talked about those linebackers, how fast and aggressive they are. Yeah. The play action over the middle, that could be something they can certainly hit on a little bit. But the sum it all up, that's one of the things I wrote. The Bucs, 4 to the 5 losses, short passing type of games, and I wrote, other than a few RPOs in that first matchup, the Packers were just too aggressive with their route combinations down the field. It led to pass protection issues and everything like that. They need to call shorter, more surgical routes and find holes in their zone coverage, and then that'll help wear that front rush out a little bit and help their O-line and pass protection too.
It's good stuff, though. I'll be keeping an eye on that Sunday for sure. Tampa offense, Green Bay defense. A lot of things I want to talk about with the Tampa Bay offense, but the first thing I've written down here, of all the 8 units that we're going to be watching on Sunday, both sides of the ball for 4 teams, is the Packers defense the least talked about, like the least amount of buzz and conversation about that group?
I think you're right.
Right there?
I mean, yes. Yeah, I feel like it's like the Bills, I feel like their defense, at least people have been talking about it a little lately.
Both sides of the ball for all these teams.
You're right.
Except the Green Bay defense. So what's the identity? What's the starting point that we should be aware of and talking about with the Packer D?
Well, the Packer D, it's a good defense. I'm not going to say it's a real good defense. They're good at everything. I'm not sure they're elite at one thing. Like we could say Tampa's run defense
Best run
is elite.
defense in the league,
right?
yeah.
I could say things about Kansas City's eliteness on their certain areas of their defense, whatever.
And how much better Buffalo has become defensively.
Definitely. Their creativity and disguises are elite. They have other aspects that are elite there, certainly. Green Bay, really good. What worries me is what you heard my dad say, is last week, I know they played pretty good defense against the Rams. The Rams didn't kill them in the run game. But still, it was 18 for 92. And really, you knew they were going to run those plays.
Talking about Cam Akers.
Cam Akers, 18 for 92. You knew they were going to run those same 2 runs basically all game long. And then all you really had to worry about in the pass game is the boot.
Yeah.
And they still ran it on you. Not to like they gashed you, but what bothers me about watching Green Bay, and I think to what like my dad was saying there a little bit, is they're in the right spots. They're guys in the right gap. Everything's good there. But no one physically dominates a play ever. That's what bothers me about Green Bay, and that's what I worry about in this matchup. Tampa's O-line is gigantic.
Right?
They're gigantic.
It's kind of overlooked because Brady's getting and earning so much of the talk. But I was in a conversation with a defensive coordinator who in the last month went against them. He said, hey, if they wanted to be a power run game and beat you every week with the run game, they
can do it.
They are that good up front, and the backs are more than capable.
That's what they did last week.
Right.
And against the Saints, they ran the ball.
The balance was awesome.
And almost managed Brady to a degree. Listen, with their O-line being that powerful, that scares me for Green Bay. The play action pass, their ability to keep people in to protect Brady and do aggressive throws down the field, that's scary for Green Bay, in my opinion. And, I just think with what was the point I was going to make here? I lost my train of thought a little bit. Hold on. But I guess it's just what I was saying is they're in a bind. They're in a bind. And Tampa, this is where I was going, sorry, I think has realized how they want to play. They're going to continue to, I don't think they care about boring football anymore.
Yeah.
I think they really look at it. Again, I would say another common theme with their 5 losses, with Tampa. We talked about the defense. Here's another theme with their offense in the 5 losses. In all the 5 losses, they all had moments of Brady panicking and this blitz, and I don't know what it is, and let me just throw it because I'm old and I don't want to get hit. And they led in all 5 losses.
Yeah.
Really, in the month of December, what we saw last week, and I'm not trying to say Brady's a manager. They're just taking the thing that we know he's weakest at this point of his career and limiting that for their football team.
Right.
Where they're going to go, no, we're not going to get into we're going to throw it 45 times a game because he's going to make 2 or 3 mistakes if we do it that way.
Right.
We're more assured of playing a consistent game if we run it, play action, run it, max protect, let them throw the ball down the field. And that's where they're different now than they were then, to where then they were still in this a little bit of a, we're shotgun Brady.
Right.
Let's do some of the New England stuff. And that's where I think it's going to be harder for the Green Bay defense.
So true. And I want to attach on a couple of things to the points you made. Number one, in terms of Brady not making mistakes recently, the 6-game win streak, 16 touchdowns, 1 pick. So the offensive line has been tremendous at keeping the pressure off. And he's been better, too, about not looking panicked.
Definitely.
And not forcing the ball either. I think one of the biggest misconceptions about this Buccaneer offense, no risk it, no biscuit, they're down the field. They're aggressive in the middle part of the field, the 15 to 25 yards. That's where they're pushing it. It's not the we're bombs away kind of offense.
Right.
And I think in these last 2 games of playoff wins, I'm not going to say they've reinvented themselves,
Yeah.
but they can shift. They had, I mean, in that game on Sunday, 33 pass attempts, Brady, 30 rush attempts. The balance has been tremendous. Fournette, in the 2 playoff wins, more carries than any 2-game run of this season.
Right.
You know who their leading receivers are in the postseason? Guys with the most catches?
Ooh.
Cameron Brate and Scott Fournette.
Oh, it's Fournette, right.
So again, not reinventing, but they can beat you with the big-time passing game, or they can run it and not dink and dunk, but hit a backup tight end and a running back more often than Mike Evans and Antonio Brown and beat you that way too.
Definitely can. And see, that's where they become dangerous too, because they call routes down the field for the Godwins and Mike Evans, but then they have a Brate or Fournette underneath to where, wait, the pressure is on the defense to defend those deep passes. And then, oh, wait, Fournette's wide open underneath. Or one-on-one with a linebacker, and he catches it and nobody's in the screen. You know, that's how he caught a touchdown last week, certainly. But you're exactly right, and that's what makes them dangerous. To me, they have figured out, like we have said for the last 6 weeks, how they want to play and what makes them the best, what makes Brady the best. And I do think their run game is going to be key to this game. You know, the first time around, the other thing that just jumped out to me more than anything, especially early on, you know, is Green Bay was all over some of their pass game stuff. Now, he made a completion or everything like that, but it's still, I was like, oh, Green Bay was ready for that route, or, you know, it wasn't like this was wide open or anything like that. Now, as the game went on, the dam kind of broke, and they started to kind of whoop their butt in all areas, and I think the Packers kind of just realized it wasn't going to be their day. But as I went through that game more and more, and just thinking about right now, and I know the Packers defense has been playing well, I just sit here and go, I don't know if they can really slow down Tampa Bay consistently all day long. I don't see how. I'll be interested to see how they do it or what the plan will be, but I think this is a very tough matchup for the Green Bay defense.
It's been a machine since they remember Week 15 in Atlanta. They were down 17-0 at halftime.
Yeah.
Brady threw for 300 in the second half. They scored, over 30 points. They've hit 30 every single game since. He's not turning it over. There's a lot of reasons to like Tampa Bay on the road here. Your dad just picked them. And I know you're officially picking the game tomorrow with Mike.
I don't know where I'm going on this one yet.
Are you leaning?
Like I kind of gave you my little, I think Tampa's a better team.
Felt to me like you're leaning Tampa.
I feel like I am leaning Tampa, but I have been burned in my life many a times where I go, you know, oh, I like this team and they're a little better, but the best player is the quarterback on the other team and they're not that far behind as a team to where I go like that. That's what I did in the Super Bowl last year. I went with 49ers. I went the 49ers. You know, they're the better team. I know Mahomes is the best player, but they'll do it. And then, sorry, Mahomes is better than everything.
And last week at Buffalo, too.
And last week at Buffalo, too. There's no doubt. Exactly right. That's where I'm going to really think about this all day. But I worry about the Packers having to put too much resources into having to stop the Bucs run game. And then it becomes play action, Gronk down the middle, play action, Mike Evans, 20-yard in cut, and those type of things. That really worries me about them. You know, last week, the Saints have a great D-line. They played too deep almost the whole game. Almost the whole game, because they had a D-line where they just said, we're huge up front. You guys have to try to stop the run because I don't know if we can cover all these weapons and pass stuff. So they played that angle. The Packers are not good enough up front to do that. So they're going to have people down there and play some defenses to stop the run game. And that could lead to some wide open passes. To me, the best defense for the Packers defense in this game is going to be Aaron Rodgers continuing to put the pressure on the Bucs offense to where the Bucs sometimes feel like we can't be balanced on this drive. We're going to have to throw it the majority of the drive. If they can get them in those situations, they can win the game. But if it's just, back and forth, one-score game, they're up by a field goal, and Tampa can run and stay consistent and balanced that way, that's where I worry about Green Bay. And then I just go, well, man, maybe they win, but Rodgers is going to have to make magic happen late in the fourth or something like that.
There was nothing that very good New Orleans defense last week could do to make Brady feel like they didn't perform like they felt any kind of sense of urgency or panic. They stayed with what they were doing, yet they knew the offense on the other side wasn't going to put points up. So if it's 14-3 in the first, you think Arians, Leftwich, and Brady get kind of knocked off of what they've been doing?
I think they'll be a little bit because one, it's just a different. They're not playing the Saints and Drew Brees and a team they have real great familiar. They probably could feel comfortable doing things against the Saints. They play them twice a year.
Yeah.
Okay, we feel good about what they do and how they attack. This is not the same familiarity. And you have a guy where you go, wait, shit, he's on fire. It's 14-3. This ain't looking good for us today. This might be one of those days that we kind of have to keep pace and score. And if it does become that, then I do say advantage Green Bay. Green Bay wants you to play a passing game. They don't want to play big boy smash mouth football. That's not what they're built for. That's going to be one thing to watch for sure.
It's incredible how that dynamic, the other quarterback, is different from the first playoff game to second to the third for this team, because you go from Taylor Heineke to Drew Brees being a little bit limited with that offense right now.
To now the laser show.
And now here comes number 12.
Right, I know. I'm so excited to watch the matchup. I think the game's going to be a great matchup either way. Both games, all four quarterbacks. I'm excited to watch it all. And hopefully those are some good tidbits and some information that people can use, betting or whatever, just sound smart when you're drinking a beer watching the game.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.